We are watching Gojo versus Goku and how Goku absolutely slams, so make sure you guys watch to the end.
So the first win con for Goku bypassing Infinity is that he would simply speed blitz Gojo and one-shot him.
I don't think so. The barrier is passive.
Passive? Well, no, actually it isn't.
Explain!
And it's ironically found in the same chapter where the supposed statement of it being passive is found. At the end of the hidden inventory arc, Geto and the other girl throw a pencil and eraser at Gojo. The pencil gets stopped by Infinity while the eraser hits him.
Okay.
Geto then guesses, based on this, that he had then designed Infinity to be an automatic targeting system for jujutsu.
Okay, the first word I'm gonna go ahead and just, you know what I'm saying, get on is guesses, you feel me? So if he's guessing how it works, I don't think that can be used as a credible source because you're guessing how it works. So that's already, so we already starting off on a bad start for his take.
Jujutsu-based techniques, which Gojo confirms. But
Damn.
the clarification that what he was doing manually,
That was bad, bro. I like, I was so confirmed. I was like, damn, I guess it's right, bro. My bad, y'all boys.
he can then make happen automatically. This is where people and even I misinterpreted upon first reading it. But what Gojo is saying here is that Infinity was something he had to manually activate upon wanting to use it. And
Back in the
now,
day.
if certain prerequisites have been met, that Infinity would just automatically be turned on without Gojo having to necessarily activate it. Hence why he mentions that not just the intensity of curse energy within an attack would activate it, but also the speed, mass, and shape of it to then distinguish the danger of an object. In layman's terms, if he's able to perceive them with his 6 eyes, he can better deduce whether to have Infinity activated or target them if they decide to attack him. However, he needs to be able to assess their threat level before Infinity can just activate on its own.
What do you mean by that?
The discussion around how Gojo's Infinity works is best summarized with it being either a whitelisted or blacklisted ability.
But I'm confused because how Gojo and how it's explained in the manga is that it basically slows the thing down to the point of never reaching him. Like I don't see where he's getting like it has to, like he has to realize it's there. You feel me? Like I obviously think Goku beats Gojo, but what he's saying right here for a speed blitz to get past Infinity, I don't know.
Meaning, does Gojo have to distinguish who's allowed to come through, or if Gojo has to constantly add things to the list of what can't come through? And the evidence shows that it has to work as a blacklisted ability.
How?
Especially when he says things like how he hopes to distinguish poisonous objects with this automatic targeting system, with even some well-known YouTubers who believed it's whitelisted, but yet still agree that Gojo has never once confirmed if he managed to do this, and it's never proven either, which you can't agree with since that contradicts the whole idea of whitelisting something. Like, he keeps out everything but because he can't discern poisons, then it'll go through. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does that not imply Infinity is not passive by that logic? Now, I'm sure most will then point out that Gojo had to manually turn it off when Yuji wanted to pat him on the back for good luck before Gojo's ultimate battle with Sukuna. But I don't see how this proves that it's passive. Sure, they're all allies and are friends of Gojo, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't have kept it on even around them. Gojo never once says he would always allow his friends to touch him. So I don't know where people get this idea that this one instance proves it's a whitelisted ability.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's just a complete assumption to make simply based on how you think Gojo uses this ability to fit your headcanon. So with that being said, due to the nature of Gojo's Infinity working as an automatic targeting system and having it be based on Gojo's ability to discern the danger of an object, it would then be safe to assume that one of the ways for Goku to bypass it.
But that's like saying like if Gojo is sleeping, right, and he just doesn't sense anybody at all, right? Like for example, like Toji or something, and he just sneaks him in his sleep, 0 curse energy. He's basically saying that Infinity wouldn't catch that. I think Infinity would still catch that because like I said, he always has it on. So it's like I don't think you need to like detect something for it to be there.
Infinity is to simply blitz Gojo's perception before he has the ability to even cognitively make a breakdown analysis of Goku.
Goku wouldn't even do that though.
Goku would have to kill Gojo before he can meet the prerequisites for Gojo to have Infinity target him.
Like Goku's a yapper, he's not doing that.
Like it's a turret. The moment you get within its range and or detection, it'll then aim and fire upon you. However, if you're able to destroy the turret so fast and wouldn't be able to sense your detection, or if you fire upon it outside its detection, then its automatic targeting system wouldn't even matter.
But it's just
so
passive
Goku
all
could
around,
just
though. I don't
kill
agree with that. I don't
Gojo
agree with that.
before he could be added to this list that would cause Infinity to activate. And considering we're talking about Goku, the guy who's many times higher into MFTL plus,
now that is
as
true.
opposed to Gojo, who's arguably 3 times faster than light, if you scale him
Just
to
3 is
Sukuna
crazy.
and think the electromagnetic wave feat is valid, then it's no question that Goku would just blitz Gojo. Now, that's all well and good, but let's take speed out of the equation here for a second and
Okay.
assume, like most would, that Goku in character decides he wants to not utterly speed blitz Gojo.
He would
and
never
fight
do
him
that, though.
normally. Because of this, Gojo would then be able to make his assessment of Goku, and now Infinity will activate even if Goku decides to speed blitz afterwards. Does Goku still have avenues to win? Since we now know how Infinity's activation works, we now need to explore how it prevents people from harming Gojo to see if Goku could actually bypass it.
Let's see,
So
let's
to start
see.
off, despite common belief, Gojo is not actually creating an infinite space in between himself and his opponent.
What do you mean by
I
that?
think this misconception is due to 2 things. One, how it's often portrayed in fights makes it seem that way, but especially the name. I mean, it's called Infinity after all, so why would we not assume that it's creating an infinite space? Well, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, JJK fans, but this is in fact a mistranslation, as the kanji used is actually the word inviolability and not infinity, which actually makes more sense of a word to use since it refers to the idea of being protected or safeguarded from attack or damage. Now, it may be possible that this is a localization thing, or that it's just an inconsistency, since the anime uses the word Mugen when in reference to Gojo's barrier. But for the sake of brevity,
Mugen.
we will call it Infinity for the rest of this video.
Okay.
So if it's not creating an infinite space, what is Gojo doing? Well, as Gojo explains, he's not stopping people, but slowing them down.
That's true, that's
This
true.
is further elaborated by Gege by citing the Achilles and tortoise
Slows
paradox,
it down, never reaches
which,
him?
if you
Okay.
haven't heard of, don't worry. All that's important to take away from it is that it implies that Gojo is cutting the opponent's speed by half the closer they get to him.
By half?
Which the paradox was created to help explain the idea that something finite can be divided an infinite number of times.
You're losing me,
Hence
you're
why
losing me.
Gojo refers to it as the infinity that exists between him and his opponent. So despite there being a clear finite distance, if the opponent makes contact with Gojo's infinity, their movement will endlessly be cut by half over time. And how Gojo is accomplishing this is by using something that is naturally there and bringing it into reality.
What?
Which implies he's manipulating the space around himself to invoke this effect on his opponents when they enter his range.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm on Team Goku, but I feel like he's just twisting the words and putting something together that sounds like it's making sense, but we're not making sense. I think he's more of just yapping right now because it's just like, it's not making sense to me right now. I don't know if I'm just sped, you feel me? But like, what do you mean he's like, wait, rewind that because I forgot what he said. Rewind that real quick.
Which implies he's manipulating the space around himself to invoke this effect on his opponents when they enter his range.
What do you mean? Like, what are you trying to say? Like, how does this get a little?
He's not necessarily creating a barrier, but a detection area that activates whenever they enter. This makes sense since Gojo is able to make contact with his opponents despite the fact his opponent is still under the effects of his ability. So that stems to reason, or how such a seemingly impenetrable barrier can be bypassed. Well, luckily the series has made it clear to us that this ability is not invincible and
That
can
is
be
true. It's not
bypassed
invincible.
or negated. But what are Goku's options? Well, Goku can simply destroy it. But how?
What?
Well, Goku has demonstrably shown that he and other Dragon Ball characters are capable of affecting space and breaking through other parallel dimensions by either punching each other, shouting, or even the use of ki attacks.
That's valid.
With
That is
Goku
valid. That is
specifically
valid.
having demonstrated to be able to affect Hit's time skip dimension, which is stated to be a separate space that Hit goes into to avoid being touched at all.
He's cooking. He's
And
cooking.
how does Goku defeat this, you may ask? By literally blasting it to hell.
That's
Meaning
valid.
his attacks are even capable of attacking separate parallel dimensions, aka other spaces. And if he seriously wanted to, he could just shout and produce a blast that would shatter it. Despite Gotenks and Boo being the ones who do the shout specifically, Goku himself has demonstrated similar levels of such power, if not greater. Hell, he
He's
might
cooking.
even be
He's
more
cooking.
capable, as evidenced by Vegeta during Dragon Ball Super, who literally powered up so hard while within the Room of Spirit and Time, a separate space, he destroyed the entire thing.
So I see where it's going with that. He's actually cooking something up here. You feel me? He's basically saying he was able to hit time skip. You feel me? And that's basically like how Infinity is, and basically another time space dimension. He's able to hit it. The same could apply for Gojo because that's how Infinity works. That actually makes sense. He's cooking something up.
If such a thing is possible for Vegeta, the same can be applied for Goku,
That is true
who's
too.
significantly more powerful. You need
Significantly
more
is
proof?
crazy.
Well, when Goku had achieved the state of UI Omen, his mere existence shook the entire world of Void,
God
another
damn.
separate space. If Goku is capable of affecting the space around so casually that he can literally shake it just by existing, just as Jiren
You
has
should be
done,
able to get in Gojo
then
guts.
shattering Infinity would be so easy for Goku that he could probably just look at it and it'd shatter. Again, this is the same guy that went up against someone who's known for jumping in and out of dimensions, and his solution to defeating them was to become so powerful that he bypasses it.
W
Which,
method, Goku.
funny enough, is how Jogo and Gojo explained how domain expansion is able to cancel out Infinity, by just simply being a more potent ability, which results
Let
in
him
Gojo
cook.
having to use his more potent domain expansion
Gojo's
to
so
counter
cute.
and override another. More on that later. So, it would be safe to say that Goku can just bypass and or destroy it by being more powerful and having the ability to affect space itself.
Yeah, that's
You need
valid.
even more proof?
He's
Well,
cooking.
in his final battle with Sukuna then explains that in order for him to bypass Infinity, he needs to not just cut Gojo, but
the
the
space.
world itself.
Okay.
After all, Gojo is only protecting himself by using the space, or in this case, the world that exists around him. So if Goku, the literal universe buster and breaker of dimensions, is able to not only affect and shake that space that exists within them, but also destroy them in their entirety, it's again safe to say that Goku would just destroy Infinity as well.
That's valid.
And
That's
honestly,
valid, y'all
if
boys.
all else fails, then Goku could just simply destroy the planet and be done with it.
Whoa, slow. Let's relax a little bit, okay? If Goku destroys the planet, they're both dead because they both can't breathe in space, buddy. You lost me.
Could do that? Probably not. But it's something to keep in mind that Goku can do that would just defeat Gojo.
And who said they'll be
since he
fighting on a
doesn't
planet?
scale to Yuki's black hole, which can be scaled to planet level. But
What?
even if he was above it and somehow survived the planet exploding, Gojo would inevitably die due to the vacuum of space.
So would Goku.
But Goku as well. So I guess
I was about
there's
to
your
say.
W, get JJK fans. Goku had to result to destroying the planet in order to kill Gojo. I hope you're happy now. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown.
Hey, bro, I think Goku absolutely washes Gojo in his last argument. Not the space one, but his last argument before that one. He definitely summed up about how he basically was hit time skip and how he was destroying. He cooked. But the rest of the video, it was a little shaky, you feel me? But overall, Goku does absolutely clap Gojo. So.